Welcome back. Joe Volpe, publisher of Corriere Canadese, North America's only Italian language daily newspaper, on behalf of Corcan Media Group and Go Live TV, continuing our begin with refugee policy and a hyperbolic debate on costs. Last week, newly minted minister responsible for border security and criminal organizations, former Toronto Police Chief Bill Blair, exposed a weak flank in his government's non-plan to deal with unregistered, irregular, undocumented, and therefore foreign workers. He probably didn't mean to do it. He probably spoke without the approval to mention it. That's the way it goes sometimes when one is scrummed after a scripted announcement. Minister Blair had come to Toronto to deliver a check in the amount of $11 million for extraordinary expenses incurred by the city to anticipated border crossers seeking asylum. More specific, it's just numbers. Neither government can be trusted with providing accuracy for a moving target. The latest numbers suggest that the number of border crossers are about 32,000 over a year. At roughly 40% of those destined for Ontario, Premier Ford is actually issuing an invoice for about 21,100 a head. Minister Blair, whose mandate letter has yet to be made public, has inherited a real hot potato. As part Minister for Canadian Borders, the removal of those illegal residents, or come up with the money, or telling Ford to justify the amounts. John Tory hasn't, apparently. It gets worse. Those are claiming asylum for what is called a safe third country, the United States. Multilateral agreements, so frequently touted as governing our multilateral obligations, an asylum seeker arriving from a non-refugee generating nation cannot expect to be accepted here. Canadian officials would be obligated to send them back to the United States in this case. Of course, they could always ask President Trump. At the base of the fear that Canadians express in respect of unexpected asylum seekers is that their general a guest cost money. Those uninvited border crossers represent a tax, a burden on the generosity of the hosts, or so goes the logic of those who would reject these unwanted guests. Minister Blair nonetheless opened a window of hope or expectation that the duty to remove can be mitigated. How? Well, his government appears to be exploring opportunities to locate the aspiring refugees in communities outside of Toronto, places that are willing to take them and that are asking for them, and will find them the accommodation. He went on to add that there are employers who want them and need them. Now, Minister Blair seemed to express confidence that they will become self-sufficient. That's the refugees, not to be a drain on the public purse. But there's a specific process that his colleagues in cabinet require their departments to enforce, regardless of his confidence, the goodwill of other communities, or the need of employers. Unfortunately, it's the one that they are unwilling to apply to those who are already working, who are already integrated, and who are already housed at their own expense and at no cost to Toronto or to Queen's Park. I speak of the undocumented workers. They're here. They're law-abiding, and their employers cannot do without them. How ironic is it that the granting of status to those undocumented workers will cost the governments absolutely nothing? It's time for Ministers Goodale and Hussein to step up to the plate before their party meets the tsunami that swallowed up Kathleen Wynne's group. Once again, on behalf of Corcan Media Group and Go Live TV, this is Joe Volpe signing off and inviting you to wait a few moments. We'll come back with a comment in Italian, then to be followed by one in Portuguese. Waiting to see you very soon, Joe Volpe.